Another delay in the opening of the Missouri Route 248 bridge over Flat Creek, southeast of Jenkins. The new bridge was scheduled to open by July 6th, but weather and construction issues pushed that opening back until this month. Now the bridge won't open until early October due to supply chain issues. Crews are replacing the old single-lane truss bridge with a two-lane structure. Till it opens, drivers should keep using the sign detour.